Okay, so scanning my surroundings. Okay. Um, so before I walk into the patient's room, I will check the medical order to make sure that I have the right. I will check the medical order to make sure I have the order to go ahead and then do a feeding. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I would have my house supplement. So I'll check this. When I check this, I'm checking for frequency, checking for amount, checking for concentration, and checking for type. Making sure to check the expiration date. This is 100 mLs of house solution. It is via bolus, and so I'm checking the integrity of the package. I'm seeing everything is fine. And so now this is the time that now I would before I walk into the patient's room, I would perform PPE if necessary, and then I would perform hand hygiene, then go ahead and do ADED. So knock, knock, knock. Hello, Mrs. Bobby and G, how are you doing? Are you doing fine? All right, that's great. So my name is Mercy, and I'm going to be your student nurse. The doctor has ordered that we give you a feeding through your tube. Is that okay? All right, and so basically the feeding is just to, excuse me, basically the feeding is just to supply you with nutrients after all that vomiting and stuff like that. So before we begin, do you mind if I check your wristband? Can you tell me your name and date of birth? All right, thank you. And so it's just to help with the nutrients going into your body. Do you have any questions? Should be uncomfortable. It should be just fine. Our goal is to make sure that you get your feeding without any nausea or vomiting. And so now I have already gathered my equipment and my data's right here. And so if I was administering with a pump, I would go ahead and set the pump according to facility procedure, but we're gonna go do it using bolus or open syringe. And so now the next thing I'll do is provide privacy and go ahead and raise the red. Making sure it's about elbow length.
Is it good?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, the video is still good.
Okay.
So making sure that's around elbow length, and then the head of the bed would be around 30 to 45-degree angle, which is already it already is, so I won't be moving that. So then I'm gonna go ahead and perform hand hygiene in garden gloves. So the next thing I'll be doing is disconnecting. Before I disconnect, I'm gonna go ahead and do an abdominal assessment. And so this is the time that I would take my stethoscope and I'll be auscultating every quadrant. I'm making sure to listen for gurgles and clicks or no. Making sure to listen for gurgles and clicks, hyper or hypo bowel movements, bowel sounds. And now the next thing I'll do, I'm going to go ahead and palpate with a dipping motion. Also checking the patient's nonverbal cues of the face, if there's any wincing of pain. And so I'll do that in all four quadrants, making sure it's not distended, there's no pain, no tenderness, not hot to the touch. All right, everything looks good. So now the next thing I'll do is discontinue the tube from the suction, and then I'm going to go ahead and unpin it from the gown. And now I'm going to go ahead and check placement. So as I check placement for the tube, I'm going to go ahead and get my tape measure it from the line of the indelible marker where it was marked to the end of this tubing. I'm going to go ahead and note that, and then also compare with the previous. I'm going to go ahead and compare with the previous documentation from the MAR. So now the next thing that I will do after I've done that, I've checked one step of placement. The next thing I'm going to go ahead and aspirate a little bit of stomach contents. So I'm just going to aspirate a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and put this into a small cup. then I'm gonna go ahead and note the color and consistency. And then I would take a pH strip, and I would go ahead and dip it or put a drop on it, and then I'll wait 30 seconds and see the results according to facility policy. And then I'm gonna go ahead and dispose of that according to facility policy. So the next thing I'll do, I'm gonna go ahead and remove my gloves and perform hand hygiene, put a new set. And so the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna aspirate the residual into the graduated cylinder. So I'm gonna plug this in here. And now this is the time that I would go ahead and aspirate the residual. So as I aspirate all the residual, I'll go ahead and put it in the container until there's either some type of resistant or there's no more. And so what I would do with this, I would go ahead and note color, consistency. I'm going to go ahead and measure how much. And then according to facility policy, I would check up how much that the residual is needed, how much the residual you need for the residual according to facility policy. And then I would also now return the residual according to facility policy. If it was over or too much, I wouldn't give the feeding, but in this case it's not, so we're okay. So now I would go ahead and return it according to facility policy, and then I'll dispose of this or wash the materials according to facility policy. So I'll remove my gloves, perform hand hygiene, and then put a new set of gloves. And so now what I want to do, now that I've put a new set of gloves, I want to now go ahead and double check my feeding. My feeding here, I have 100 milliliters of house supplement via bolus. And now what I want to do, I'm going to do the check so I have the right patient, right medication, right time, right route, and right date. Everything is fine. Looking at the expiration date again, the integrity of the package, everything is fine. And I've gone ahead and pre-measured this into 100 milliliters. So I've set everything aside. So now the first thing I want to do is I would move the stopper. I'm making sure to clamp every time or to uncap. So right now I would uncap, put this stopper in, and then I'm going to go ahead and flush with 30 to 50 mLs of water. So I would open this, making sure to never ever at any point use the stopper. I'm going to go ahead and flush with 30 to 50 mLs of water. When that's done, I've already had my graduated cylinder. I have already double checked this according to the record. And now I'm going to go ahead and pour this in. So I'll pour in a house supplement. Okay. And I would have donned new gloves and performed hand hygiene before even touching the patient. Again, before administering the feeding. And so now when it's almost done, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and flush 30 to 60 mLs water. And then when that's done, I'm going to hold this up all the way, making sure everything goes in, and I'm going to remove it, cap it, clamp it. Are you feeling okay? Is everything fine? Alright, and this whole time I'm observing the patient, making sure that everything is okay, making sure I'm not seeing any verbal cues. If I was to hold this higher, it would make the solution go faster. If I was to hold this lower, it would make the solution go slower. So I would cue on how I need to do this according to the patient. And so now that I have clamped this and capped this, now what I'm going to do is remove my gloves. Perform hand hygiene. And now are you feeling okay? Is everything good? Alright, so I would not go ahead and attach this back to suction. I would leave this with making sure that the vent is above stomach level. And now I'm going to go ahead and pin this back on the patient. And so I'm observing the patient, making sure everything went well, things were good. So the next thing I want to do is now I'm going to come back and have the patient sit up for about an hour, making sure that not to lay down, just for that to go good and go well. And then I would make sure to come back and to check on the patient and do an abdominal assessment. This is about to time out. Okay, and make sure to do an abdominal assessment before at least once every shift. So now I'm gonna do everything is good with the patient. So what I'm gonna do is now is take the bed down. Are you feeling okay? No problems. How's your tummy feeling? Everything's good. No cramping. Great. Oh yeah. That was our goal. No cramping, no nausea, no vomiting. You feel okay? I'm gonna come back and check on you in about an hour. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and do a safety sweep. Like I said, I would wash all the contents, everything. I would dispose in the correct manner according to the facility, and I would also dispose. I would also wash everything according to the facility. So what I want to do is now I want to go ahead after I put the patient down. I want to go ahead and now give a call light or give water. Making sure to come back and check on the patient, document everything that I have, and now in about an hour I'll come back and check on you. Is that okay? Alrighty. At this time, as I walk out of the patient's room, I will remove any PPE, perform hand hygiene, lift up the rail, and then I'll come back in an hour. Is that okay? Thank you. Okay. So I'll be right back. Okay, and so it's been an hour, and now I'm gonna go ahead and come back. Okay. So before I come back, I'm gonna go ahead and do PPE and hand hygiene, if indicated. So now I'm gonna go ahead and Okay, hello, Miss Bobby Angie. How are you doing? Are you okay? My name is Mercy. You had me earlier about an hour ago, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring in my things. And how are you feeling? Is everything okay? So I'm gonna be your student nurse. You had me a little bit earlier. Hopefully you remember me. And so now the doctor has ordered for us to remove the NG tube. Is that okay with you? It's slightly uncomfortable, a few moments of discomfort, but when we take it out, everything will be fine. So before I go ahead and explain any more, do you mind telling me your name and date of birth? Okay. And then before this, I would have gone ahead and checked the medical record to make sure that there is an order for removal of the NG tube. And so you're doing fine. So it shouldn't be anything just too painful, just a little bit discomforting, but you'll be fine after we take it out. Do you have any questions, any concern, any worries? Okay, no? So now I'm gonna go ahead and lift this up. And now again, be lifting to elbow length. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put this down. So as I go ahead and put this down, you said you're feeling okay? So the first thing I want to do again is perform abdominal assessment. So I'm going to go ahead and perform hand hygiene and put on gloves. And then I'm going to go ahead and, now as I don gloves, before I do an abdominal assessment, I'm going to go ahead, put your leg back, and I'm going to go ahead and provide privacy. And then I will obviously do hand hygiene again and don gloves. So now what I want to do is now I want to go ahead and properly, the same way I did auscultating vowel sounds, each quadrant, making sure to hear vowels and clicks, verbals and clicks. I'm also palpating tenderness and pain. No, you're fine. You're doing great. That's amazing. This is time I'll also auscultate lung sounds, just to make sure there's no abnormalities or anything like that. So now, the first thing I want to do is go ahead and check placement again. So I'll remove this. And now I'm going to go ahead and get my tape. And in the same manner as we did earlier, doing from the markable, the indelible marker, and then go ahead and measure to the end of the tube. And if I did not state earlier in the administering of the tube feeding, if for some reason the indelible marker line was down here, or I wasn't able to get pH, or something was off, we would go ahead and notify the doctor and then go ahead and get an X-ray to make sure placement. So that's the same thing we're gonna do here. If I feel something is off, or the line is somewhere down here where it's not supposed to be, we'll go ahead and get an X-ray. But everything looks great on this patient. We're doing fine. Nothing is wrong. This is the same time that I would aspirate. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing. Aspirate pH contents. Put it in a cup. This time I'll check the pH strip, how we've been doing. pH strip, make sure that everything is fine. Everything looks great on the patient. Next thing I want to do is go ahead and get a bath towel. And so this is just to protect you from any type of body excretions that might drip on you. You have an emesis basin right here. If you feel like, I'm gonna go ahead and lift you up just a little bit. If you have an emesis basin right here, just in case you want to throw up. And then because I touched the bed, I would have gone ahead and performed hand hygiene. I'm gonna go ahead and remove these gloves before hand hygiene. And then here are tissues for blowing your nose afterwards, and also for any tears. Okay, like I said, this might be a little bit uncomfortable, but you should be okay. Do you have any questions, comments, or concerns? No. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is now that I've detached this from the patient, we're gonna go ahead and I would have thrown the stomach contents or the aspirate in the appropriate bin for policy. And now I'm gonna go ahead and don new gloves. And take the ones from here. I'm gonna just be reassuring the patient that it'll be fine. So what I want the patient to do is hold their breath. So I'm gonna coil this, and as I get there, before I do that though, I'm gonna go ahead and remove the tape slowly, make sure not to harm the patient. If it was stuck, I would have used the saline solution. And then take this off. How are you feeling? I would have removed my gloves before taking off the tape. Okay, and so now I'm gonna go ahead and coil this around. And so on the count of 3, when I take a hold of the breath, we're gonna hold it, and then I'm gonna go ahead and pull. I'm not gonna tug. It should come out quite easy. I'm not gonna pull, making sure not to harm me. So I'm gonna go ahead and coil this up. And now on the count of 3, so 1, 2, 3, take a deep breath for me. And I'm just gonna pull it out, making sure to wrap it around and then pull it out. And that looks great. And before I go ahead and dispose of it, I just want to check for the tip, making sure the tip is intact, everything looks fine. I'm going to go ahead and just check the inside the tubing, anything I need to know. And now you don't need this, you're feeling fine. So here's tissue for your nose. Go ahead and blow for me. Great. And now we're going to go ahead and wrap this up and dispose of this per facility policy. And now I'm gonna go ahead and remove my gloves. Remove my gloves, perform hand hygiene, put on a new set of gloves. Are you feeling okay? It feels better, doesn't it? Okay. And so the next step I wanna do is just go ahead and perform some mouth care on you. So here you are, we have options. Would you like the toothbrush or the sponge? Toothbrush, okay. So we're gonna go ahead and perform mouth care. At this time, the doctor had said it's okay. The patient will be able to now drink some water, everything for you. Okay, we perform mouth care. Lips are lubricated. Everything looks fine. Is there anything? Are you feeling any pain in your nose? Can I get anything for you? No, the vision is fine. And so now I want to do is I want to lift up the bed rail and put the patient down. And then I'm gonna go ahead and check the gastric. I'm gonna go ahead and check the suction and see what's been. Oh, no way. Did it stop? No, it didn't stop. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and check the gastric secretions. So after I've lowered this down, I'm gonna go ahead and check it and making sure that as I'm checking consistency, color, checking anything. And then what I would do is I would go ahead and subtract any irrigants that I've put inside, and then I would add a solidifying agent to it, and then disposing of it per facility policy. Anything that I would need to do per the facility, I'll go ahead and gather my equipment, make sure I've left nothing, everything okay, make sure the patient is right, the bed is all the way down. Then I'm going to go ahead and check for safety precautions, call light, water, finish ADET, thank the patient for letting me do this, make sure the patient's comfortable, there's no pain or anything. Okay, thank you so much. And now I'm going to go ahead and remove my things out. I'm going to go ahead and open the curtain. As I walk out, now I'm going to go ahead and remove any PPE, remove gloves, perform hand hygiene, and that is it. Making sure that I put everything in, I will go ahead and document in the EHR anything I need to do with documentation, and that will be all. And